Hello my friends, today I will talk to you about a very interesting game, a fantastic game called Distant Worlds Universe. It is the fourth or fifth expansion. There was the Shakur expansion, the Legends expansion, the Pirates expansion, I don't know. Each expansion used to cost $40 to $50, so if you bought all of these with no discounts, you already spent $300 on this game or $250. But now the full game can be acquired from Steam with $60 or €55, which is a pretty expensive for euros since. This is a simulation actually, a galactic simulation. You can have. This is a game about galactic expansion, featuring spying, private companies, colonization, 50,000 planets in 1,400 stars galaxy. You can have 24 pirate factions and 19 others for a total of 20 imperial factions which go and colonize. You can also discover through special events, through investigating ruins on your planets, dormant races, which there is a special option when you start the game to allow them to go and colonize other worlds. So what typically happens in this game with poor graphics, the graphics are very poor, but they forgot to hire some designers to design a 3D game for them. It is a 2D game, but it has all the elements of the galactic simulation. You have private companies which grab the cash from your colonies and go on and colonize on their own, and they build mining stations on their own on other planets. And if you don't have mining stations, they can send fighters and mining ships to mine things and bring back, and they make and those private companies have cash on their hands. All the cash that you do not tax belong to the private companies. So often the private companies will have more cash than you have, and by building spaceport, small, medium and large spaceport on your colonies, the foreign empires and your own private companies can trade with you the resources which they acquired. And there are many resources, strategic resources, luxury resources. It looks like a civilization game combined with a galactic civilization game on this regard. There are hundreds of types, there are tens of types of resources, and special one, the lowest fruit, which if you trade with other empires, it will grant you a huge a boost of cash, 300k of cash for each spaceport, and they will grant them plus 30 development indices on the planet which you trade to. So there are also pirate factions. Pirate factions are like minor empires. They cannot colonize planets, but they can occupy bases and build hidden pirate bases on those, and they can ask for protection fees at the beginning, in the game. And at the beginning of the game, you are well advised to accept those protection fees, which are monthly fees, because you are unable to defend yourselves. And of course the game has years, months and days. Every second is a new day in the game, and the game starts from the year 2100 or 9600 in the ancient galaxy. And why I am playing this because I have left Atlantis. I am the Praetor of the Galactic or Universal Council of Atlantis, and I have 340,000 galaxies with trillions of planets to manage, but I have left them. So I wonder how they will manage without me. So this game can be fully automated. You can put all your ships starts automated, but you can put your spies on automated. Your research starts automated. There are 3 areas of research: energy research, high energy research, and normal research. And you can build research station, high research station, energy research station, normal research stations around your planets. You can also build defensive bases. So normally I put you can also recruit troops, which are normal troops, armored troops, and missile launchers, which launch missiles against ships which attempt to land on your planets. So I usually go to the automation screen and immediately instruct any of my new colonies to start building troops and one defense base. Immediately you can have more designs for defense bases, because also the design screen can be fully automated. You can have hundreds of designs. You have escort ship, exploration ships, fighter ships, which are private ships. You can design them for private companies, but the private company will retrofit them when your new tech is available based on their own cash on hand. So you don't have to pay cash to retrofit the private ships, which are usually mining ships, exploration ships, freighters, and so on. So, my dear friends, this is a game I am using for simulating Atlantis, because with 50,000 planets to colonize, which given enough research, you can research to colonize them all. There are continental planets like Earth, there are oceanic planets like Earth, because Earth is actually an ocean planet. 70% of the planet's surface is water, and only 73% is water and 23% is land. Yes, and you can have a Mars planet, desert planets, jungle planet, or Mars planets are the same. Ice planets, volcano planets, or the desert planets, which are already mentioned. So the planets look like in another game, Endless Space, which has better graphics, but the galaxies are much more reduced. That is why I prefer games with poor graphics, because unlike Swords of the Stars or Scenes of a Solar Empire, which I personally design a galaxy with 1,000, tens of thousands of planets specifically in this regard, to automate everything and let Atlantis do its own. Actually, in that game you cannot automate anything, but anyway. So this game looks in automation much like another, not Space Control, not Star Control, another Space Empires 5, yes, Space of Empires 4 and 5, which also have ships. You must explore other systems. There are jump drives, hyperdrive. Also in this game there was a very interesting idea of mine. Do you know what idea? I plan to make a game in which humanity goes to the stars. First you need to research rockets and flying saucers or anti-gravity technology. Then you go on to explore Mars, Mercury, Venus, the planets in our solar system, and then you will build jump drives, and you will slowly go with a hyperdrive to a nearby system, set up a Stargate, go with a Stargate back, and repeat the process over and over. So actually it is the expansion of Atlantis. You will need a jump drive, a hyperdrive, and a Stargate to build the Stargate. Why is this? Because first, before we invented the jump drive, we had Stargates, which are fixed position from which to go from system to system, and in order to reach another system you have to map the space first. In order to map the space you need to send an exploration vessel to see what mini black holes, asteroids, and so on are in your way, and you will need a hyperdrive to go fast, and you will go a few months to the Alpha Centauri, but once then there you will use the transport ship to assemble a Stargate, and you will instantly be back. And then you will transport ships and materials and people to the newly found planet, if there is a colonizable planet there. Actually, this can be seen from Earth using special observatories, and then you're going to colonize the planet, repeat the process 100 years on, and this is how in a few thousand years you can explore the galaxy. But if you have a jump drive like we have now, you don't need to use a hyperdrive together, you can simply jump. But in order to jump, you have to first map the galaxy. So you will need a hyperdrive anyway. And I see that the guy and NASA are very close at developing the hyperdrive. So in these games you also have spies, which kind of break the game, because you have characters which are leaders, diplomats, spies, ambassadors, and scientists, and more often than not, foreign empires send killing missions to you to kill your leaders and your beloved scientists, and they do so. So you have invested a lot in growing a character, in putting him on a research station, and suddenly your research drops because the scientist is dead. Or if your empires go poorly, you have invested a lot to grow your leader, the beloved Basescu, but if you have, or the beloved me, but if you are doing poorly in wars against other empires, every 4 years or 5 years you're going to have elections, and you're going to lose the elections, and the new leader will be appointed, which will have a very poor stats and will hurt your empire in a bad way, -10%, -2, -3, and this game is very complex. You have tons of data. It actually looks more like spreadsheets, because you can go to the colonies and see what cargo they have, and you can assign cargo from each type of resource: hydrogen, lead, special gases, and so on and so forth. You can assign freighters to go on and move stuff between your colonies. If you're lacking strategic resources or luxury resources, then you're going to have a hit on your new colonies. Also, new people will not go and settle on your new planets if they don't like them, or if they are under attack. So colonization is a little bit tricky, because I had a game where I colonized 200 planets, and then I left an automated, and in 2 hours I was down to 23 colonies. All the other empires came and invaded. Also, I had set on that game. That game ran the whole night. So I let the game run the whole night, and I was greeted by a message: this world was crashed because the memory 4 gigabytes was overstacked. Actually, I have 8 gigabytes on my computer, but it is a 32-bit application. So this is what happens when you have a large galaxy 1400 planets and you let the computer do its own. Actually, you can start the game fully automated, and I plan to do this. Now I'm running Atlantis from the ancient galaxy. You already start with 16 planets, 16 systems, and you can go to the potential colonies, and from there you can assign your colony sheet, build colony sheets from 10,000 credits to 40 potential worlds, which are on your area, very close to your area, because you can only colonize to a certain extent from your colonies, from a certain range. You can also specify the range when the game starts. And there are colonies which are marking red, which are too far, and marking yellow because they have a hidden pirate base on them. And if you're building a spaceport on them, you're destroying that hidden pirate. So you also need to build some military ships and put them on for auto to send them. You also need to raise the fleet, because this is a fault of the AI. First fault, it is that it automatically assigns defensive spies to 30% instead of 50%, but this is normal. And also exploration is set to normal instead of very high. There are also other curves, but the biggest flaw of the AI is that it has the limit for fleets is at 15 ships, and then normally I set that to 50 or 60 ships, or maybe 100 ships in a fleet. And the task, the strike task, the number of transports in invading wars, you set to 4, you should set it to 10 or 15 transports. So I need big fleets, and in order to big fleets I need a lot of resources, and resources come not only from economies, because you're the +1 -4, so this is why you have to guard your expenses. If you have too many pirate factions to protect you, you're going to have a hit on your monthly income, and you're going into red. But then your spaceports will help you. I used to build a spaceport on each of my new colonies, but now I'm building a defensive base and troops in order to protect that colony from invasion, or from making pirates build a hidden, because pirates are very good at spotting your new colonies and immediately building hidden pirate bases on them, and then started to raid the colony because they have a field of vision over it. You can also build monitoring stations on black holes, on the gas. You have nebulas, you have black holes, and usually they provide you. They don't provide you with planets, but they provide you with bonuses. Each star can have a number of planets. You can have planets and moons and gas. There are gas giants, and gas giants have moons, and moons have other moons around them. And in the beginning of the game, you can only build mining stations of them. So you start the game with nothing. You build 2 construction ships. One construction ship is there to build the defensive base, and another to build the spaceport. After you build the spaceport, you can build 2 exploration vessels. You send the exploration vessel to explore your own star system, because you don't have the hyperdrive yet. In order to have the hyperdrive, you must first discover a ruin containing the hyperdrive. And after that, you start building on all your planets. You have tens of potential moons and planets and gas giants on your system, where you're building mining station in order to acquire special resources like gold, steel, lead, iron, argon, krypton, and other noble gases. Also some nice resources, which are some crystals of some kind needed in research. But you don't need to. I don't pay attention to them, because there are hundreds of types of resources, and you can go to the colony screen and to the colonies F2, and you can go to each colony and see what ships are docking, what ships are leaving, what do you have in cargo, how many troops do you have. Actually, you can go to the characters page and see not only your characters but also the ambassadors from other races assigned to your home world. And it takes a very long time until you can colonize another planet, because you have to research the colonization, which is the second or third tier technology. Then you have to build a colonization ship, or you can simply go to the colony and hit the colonize button, or you can go to the expansion planner and go to potential colonies, and they show you hundreds of potential colonies, and what special resources strategically off on them, what population, because they can have undeveloped other populations. There are 40 species in this game, 40 races or 40 species in this game. Which don't look very interesting, but nevertheless, there we have insects, we have automatons, we have mechanoids, we have lizards, we have other types, we have scientists, we have green females from Star Controls, and so, which love sex, and so all females love sex anyway. We go there, and it takes a while. It takes tens of years in game until you can colonize another planet. And usually the colonized planets on your system cannot be colonized because they are oceanic or marsh planets or ice planets or volcanic or desert planets, and you have to research another technologies to be able to colonize those planets. So you often do not have to go. And this is where AI is pretty stupid, because it will send your hyperdrives. When you invent hyperdrives, there are a number of, like in Galactic Civilizations, you can research a number of improvements to the hyperdrive, but the improvements are much larger than Galactic Civilizations too. I used to edit all the text, I used to mod the game and edit all the text files in order to provide much better, because in Galactic Civilization 2 you have 3 or 4 tag levels which offer the same speed, and I usually change from 2 to 4, I usually double it every generation, and in the end I got a game which was very easily to conquer. In a few turns I gained tremendous speed and tremendous resources and all my planets, because I used to modify my plans to allow 100 spaces for facilities. Here you don't have to. So I like Distant Worlds because I like the games I like other space games like Hegemonia. You can only build 7 star bases on this game and have 7 fleets. Here you can have an unlimited number of fleets, ships and facilities. You can have unlimited number of everything in this game. So that is why this game crashes so often. And I intend to start the game from zero and put it on fully automated with default settings and see how the AI manages. Also, for your own sanity, you should disable some of the pop-ups, because it will say cruiser 1349 needs refueling. It has refueled. Frigate 2573 needs repaired. It has repaired. A new ship was built. Well, a new rule has uncovered. A new planet has been colonized. And you know, when you have 50,000 planets, you cannot manage every other planet. You cannot go there and start to build wonders, because you also have wonders in this game. Pretty neat wonders, which give you empire-wide, and you can, or planet or system-wide bonuses, and you can also have factories and other facilities built, which are in the factory section. But the interface is pretty bad, you know, it is pretty basic. You have to read very hard to read text and click on very small buttons at the bottom of the screen to accomplish some tasks. Although there are numerous ways you can do some tasks. Yeah. So this is a very good game. Now I'm running my second automated game, and see. Of course, I did not pay for it. I took it from Pirate Bay. Goodbye.